There comes a moment in every man's life when he wonders, does she feel what I feel? And sometimes the signs are so quiet, so hidden, that you miss them and lose a woman who was silently praying you'd notice her. Today, I'm going to reveal the truth most women will never admit out loud. The small gestures she thinks you'll never catch, the looks she tries to hide, the emotions she buries just to protect her heart. If you've ever felt confused, unsure, or afraid of misreading her signals, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you won't just understand her. You'll see her in a way you never have before. Before we dive in, comment your location below and subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this powerful community together. When a woman is attracted to you, one of the first places you'll see the truth is in her body language, not the loud, obvious cues people like to talk about, but the subtle, unconscious shifts she doesn't even realize she's making. Most men overlook these signals because they're waiting for something dramatic, something unmistakable. But attraction rarely shows up in neon signs. It whispers. It reveals itself in fleeting moments, in tiny gestures, in the kinds of details only a man who is paying attention will ever catch. And that's what separates an average man from a perceptive man. His ability to see the unsaid. You can tell she's drawn to you by the way her eyes behave around you. If she's truly attracted, her gaze doesn't just meet yours. It lingers. It softens. It questions. It flickers between wanting to stare and wanting to look away before you notice. Sometimes she'll hold eye contact too long, almost as if she's trying to memorize you. Other times she'll avoid it intentionally, not because she isn't interested, but because she is. People often hide what they feel the most intensely, and women have mastered the art of protecting their hearts before exposing them. So if you see her shifting between looking at you and pretending not to, understand that you're witnessing the quiet battle between her mind and her emotions. Her posture also begins to change in ways she doesn't consciously control. When you walk into a room, she naturally angles her body toward you. She may not even stand up or move physically, but her attention gravitates in your direction like a compass pulled by a magnetic force. If she's sitting, she may uncross her arms, tilt her head slightly, or lean in when you speak. These aren't rehearsed actions. They're instinctive signals of openness and receptivity. And if she repeatedly positions herself within your line of sight, even without talking to you, that's not random. It's a silent invitation. She's placing herself where you can notice her because she hopes deep down that you do. Pay attention to her nervous habits as well. Attraction often carries a mix of excitement and anxiety, and women reveal this through fidgeting with their jewelry, touching their hair, adjusting their clothes, or suddenly becoming more aware of how they appear. These micro movements are not vanity. They're a biological response to someone who stimulates her emotionally. When a woman feels drawn to a man, she subconsciously prepares herself to be more presentable, more appealing, more attentive. She isn't trying to impress every man, just the one who has captured her interest. Another sign lies in proximity. A woman who feels nothing for you keeps her distance. She doesn't move closer unless she has to, and she doesn't allow you into her personal space without a reason. But when she's attracted, she breaks the invisible line. She stands near you when she doesn't need to. She stays a little longer in your presence, even when the conversation has technically ended. She chooses the seat beside you instead of across the room. These are choices, not coincidences. And the more subtle the closeness, the deeper the interest often is. Women rarely invade a man's space unless they feel comfortable, safe, and connected to something about him. There's also mirroring, one of the strongest psychological signs of attraction. If you lean back, she leans back. If you take a sip of water, she takes one shortly after. If you shift your posture, she adjusts too. This mirroring isn't mimicry, and it's not something she does consciously. It's the body's natural way of saying, I'm in sync with you. When two people are emotionally aligned, their bodies fall into rhythm naturally, without effort. And when a woman is attracted, this alignment becomes almost unavoidable. Her body chooses connection before her words ever do. Sometimes Even the silence between you reveals the truth. A woman who likes you pays attention to the energy that exists when neither of you is speaking. She doesn't rush to fill the pauses. She lets them linger because the quiet doesn't feel awkward. It feels charged. It feels meaningful. She listens more deeply, not just to your words, but to the tone behind them, the pace of your voice, the weight of what you choose to share. Women give their attention selectively. If she gives it to you fully, it's never by accident. What many men fail to understand is that these signals are not random behaviors. They are ancient, evolutionary responses tied to safety, trust, desire, and emotional resonance. A woman's body communicates what her mind might still be processing. And if you learn to read these signs with respect, emotional maturity, and awareness, you won't just understand her better. You'll understand yourself better too. You'll start to see how attraction is not about chasing, proving, or performing. It's about presence. It's about being attuned. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to guess because he has trained himself to notice what others ignore. And the truth is this: a woman's body rarely lies. Her words may hide her feelings. Her mind may try to protect her. But her body always speaks first. Listen to it. Respect it. And let it show you what her heart is still gathering the courage to say. When a woman is truly attracted to you, she doesn't leave everything up to chance. She finds small, intentional ways to weave herself into your world. And what's fascinating is that these efforts rarely look dramatic on the surface. They aren't grand confessions or bold declarations. They show up in the quiet, calculated spaces where she thinks she's being subtle. But the intention behind them is anything but subtle. Psychology teaches us that human beings gravitate toward what makes them feel alive, curious, and emotionally stimulated. So when she consistently seeks moments of proximity, interaction, or connection with you, it's not because she's bored or has nothing else to do. It's because you have become something her mind returns to again and again. She may initiate a conversation, not in a way that seems obvious, but through a question, a comment, or a small check, and that feels random. But nothing is random. Women don't initiate without purpose. If she reaches out first, she is signaling that you are on her mind. She wants to open a door, not forcefully, not aggressively, but gently enough for you to step in if you want to. And notice how she reacts when you respond. If she lights up, replies quickly, or continues the conversation even when it could naturally end, she is creating a pathway for connection. She is saying, without saying it, I want to talk to you. I enjoy talking to you. I don't want this to stop. She also begins to show interest in your life, not the surface level details anyone can ask, but the deeper things that reveal who you are. She asks about your goals, your fears, your past experiences, the things that shaped you. This curiosity is emotional investment in disguise. Women do not seek to understand a man they feel neutral about. They ask questions because they want to understand the internal world behind the external image. They want to know what drives you, what hurts you, what inspires you, and what you dream about. And the more she opens space for conversation, the more she is signaling that she sees something in you worth exploring. Sometimes she creates opportunities through vulnerability. She shares something personal, not necessarily dramatic, but meaningful. A small story about her childhood, a fear she rarely voices, something she failed at, or something she's fighting through. Vulnerability is not just emotional openness. It is an invitation. It is her way of saying, here is a piece of my world. Will you meet me here? And when a woman offers vulnerability, it is rarely to just anyone. She chooses the man who feels emotionally safe, mentally stimulating, or spiritually aligned with something inside her. Another way she creates connection is by asking for your help, not because she's helpless, but because needing you helps her feel closer to you. She may ask your opinion on something, seek guidance, or pretend she needs assistance with something simple. This isn't manipulation. It's bonding. Psychology calls this connection seeking behavior, where a person uses collaboration as a bridge between two emotional worlds. When she asks for your input, she is looking for reassurance, support, and the feeling that you are someone she can depend on. And then there are the moments where she positions herself in your routine, not forcefully, not intrusively, but intentionally. She starts showing up at the places you frequent, not as a coincidence, but as a decision. She chooses the seat near you in group settings. She stays in a conversation longer than necessary. She laughs a little louder when you're around, hoping you'll notice her warmth, her presence, her essence. These are not accidental moments. They are calculated openings for connection. Women often speak through their availability. If she keeps showing up where you are, she is offering time, attention, and presence. 3 things a woman does not give without reason. Pay attention to how she listens. Listening is one of the deepest forms of attraction. If she remembers the small things you say, your favorite snack, a deadline you mentioned, a dream you shared in passing, it shows that she stores pieces of you in her mind. People don't remember everything, they remember what matters. And if she makes space for you in her memory, she is making space for you in her emotional world. What's equally revealing is how she reacts when you share something personal. Her eyes soften, her voice shifts, she becomes more invested in the dialogue. It's almost as if she starts seeing the version of you beneath the surface. Attraction isn't just about admiration, it's about connection. It's about recognizing a reflection of something familiar, something comforting, or something inspiring within another person. The truth is, women don't create opportunities for connection unless they feel something worth pursuing. These efforts may be small, quiet, or indirect, but they are consistent, they are intentional. They are the emotional breadcrumbs that lead you toward her heart, if you're wise enough to notice. And here's the message at the core of it all. Connection doesn't just happen. We create it. And when a woman chooses to create it with you, it's because she sees possibility where others see nothing. So pay attention. Because the moment you recognize her effort is the moment you unlock a deeper, more meaningful path between you. When a woman is attracted to you, her emotional investment becomes one of the clearest indicators, not because she declares it, but because her behavior begins to revolve around how she feels in your presence. Emotional investment is subtle, layered, and often disguised as ordinary interaction, but underneath it lies a psychological truth. Human beings do not give their emotional energy to someone who does not matter to them. So when you start to notice that she remembers your smallest details, reacts deeply to your presence, and becomes sensitive to your actions, understand that you have stepped into a space in her heart she does not open easily. You'll see it in the way she pays attention to the things you say, not just the important things, but the offhand comments, your preferences, your frustrations, your dreams, your struggles. She stores these fragments of you in her mind because they guide her understanding of who you are beneath the surface. Women rarely remember details about men they feel indifferent toward. Memory is tied to emotional relevance. If she remembers what you said weeks ago, it's because it mattered to her in the moment, and it still matters now. There's also a subtle shift in how she responds to your emotional state. If you're going through something difficult, she doesn't ignore it. She checks in, offers support, or simply stays present in a way that feels grounding. Her care reveals itself in quiet gestures, asking how you're holding up, noticing when you're not yourself, offering words of comfort or encouragement, or giving you space when she senses you need it. This level of attunement is not accidental. It's rooted in an emotional stake she has placed in the connection between you. When a woman invests emotionally, your well-being becomes part of her internal world. You'll also notice her reactions become more meaningful. If you seem distant, she feels it. If you seem happy, she absorbs it. If another woman enters your orbit, she notices. It's not about jealousy in a dramatic sense. It's about the subtle discomfort that arises when something threatens the emotional bond she values. Women rarely feel protectiveness over a man unless they see him as someone important to their emotional landscape. Jealousy, even in mild forms, is often a sign of attachment. She may try to hide it, but the shift in her tone, her silence, or her sudden change in energy reveals what she won't say out loud. Her emotional investment also shows up in how she thinks about your future, sometimes in ways you don't immediately recognize. She listens to your ambitions and begins to imagine what role she could play in them. She encourages your growth, supports your direction, and sees possibilities where others see obstacles. A woman who is emotionally invested doesn't just care about who you are now. She cares about who you can become. She wants to be aligned with your evolution, not just your present moment. Another profound sign appears in how she adapts around you. She may adjust her schedule to make time for you, choose to be more present in your life, or make sacrifices she wouldn't make for someone else. Adaptation is one of the purest forms of emotional investment because it requires effort. It requires prioritizing you, consciously or unconsciously. People invest their time where their heart leans. If she consistently finds ways to be available, even when she's busy, understand that she is choosing you. Not casually, not coincidentally, but intentionally. You may also notice she becomes more open emotionally. Vulnerability is difficult for many women, especially those who have been hurt before. But when she feels safe with you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, she allows you to see the parts of her she guards from the rest of the world. She shares her insecurities, her hopes, her past wounds, her desires for the future. These are not just conversations, these are acts of trust. And trust is the lifeblood of emotional connection. When she allows you into her emotional world, she is giving you access to something sacred. And here's the deeper philosophical truth behind it. Emotional investment is a form of risk. Every time she opens up, every time she cares, every time she reacts, she is exposing herself to the possibility of disappointment. Yet she continues to lean in because something about you feels worth the risk. Attraction alone doesn't create this level of vulnerability. Emotional resonance does. She sees something in you, your integrity, your energy, your character, that inspires her to take that risk. This emotional investment often becomes visible in the way she treats you compared to others. She smiles differently with you. She softens. She becomes more attentive. Her energy shifts from casual to intentional. She prioritizes your messages, responds with depth, and seeks conversations that go beyond the surface. She may try to act natural, but the warmth in her tone, the tension in her pauses, or the excitement in her voice gives her away. Emotional truth always leaks through the cracks of behavior. And perhaps the biggest sign is this: she cares about how you see her, not out of insecurity, but out of desire. She wants to be someone who brings value to your life, someone who inspires you, someone who stands out in your mind. Women do not seek significance in the eyes of men they are not drawn to. If she tries to show you her best self, not in a performative way, but in an intentional, self-aware way, it means she wants you to truly see her. So, pay attention to her emotional patterns. They speak louder than her words. Attraction may ignite interest, but emotional investment reveals intention. And when you recognize that intention, you gain the clarity to either nurture it or release it responsibly. Because at the end of the day, the real sign she's attracted to you is when her heart moves before her words do.